Where do you possibly start a YouTube channel? I think the more important question is to ask, why start a YouTube channel? You feel that you have something to contribute and you're willing to be vulnerable and go out and share that expertise or that knowledge or that information or those skill sets with people, feeling that there's individuals that would appreciate, could consume, and ultimately benefit from that information. That's what Fearless Armor is all about. And I'll talk more in a couple minutes about the channel, what it's going to be about. But let me first quickly introduce myself. My name's John. I'm an architect. I've been practicing architecture for 40 years. I am not a pastor, but many of the things that we're going to talk about on this channel have to do with faith, and not any specific faith. That's something that I think is a lot of people are deceived with in the world. And I certainly want to share my thoughts, get your thoughts on that. But this isn't really a faith-based channel. There's a lot of individuals out there that have that type of information, that type of content. That's not what we're going to focus on here. Let me tell you quickly the foundation of this channel, where it's really going to start, by telling you a story. Back in 1997, I was in my 20s, and I found myself falling away from the church that I was going to and was raised in. And getting my hair cut, I basically was approached by an individual that just kind of talked to me about faith. Long story short, in that meeting, I really started to think about, did I believe in God or not? Did I believe that Jesus actually died on a cross to save my own personal individual sins? That's where the whole story begins. After that, I basically wanted to spend time writing a book talking about it. But I had trouble. This was 1997, 98, 99, the year 2000 rolled around. I tried to compartmentalize things that I'm going to share with you in a minute into some solidification of a book. Had trouble coming up with a theme. How can I wrap it all together? Then in 2008, I basically had a vision, if you will. That vision was as if I had already read the book that I'm going to share with you, which will be the foundation of this channel. Basically all 21 chapters of it. It's a fairly large book, 350 pages, 80 some odd thousand words. Quite substantial project, but from 1997 until 2008, when I finally really started get to writing it, I think I was just being taught lessons. I was just learning. I was looking out at what the book was supposed to be about, what I felt it was to be about, and I was really trying to have that book tell a story about the world, that this unseen world, the world that we don't experience on a daily basis, yet we do. And I had a very, very hard time until the solidification of this came into my mind by a power far more intelligent than myself. So from 2008, beginning of 2009, I just really started going chapter after chapter, started writing things that would happen in the world, very coincidentally, yet not that coincidentally. Things that would happen in the world, I was writing about, and then all of a sudden there was an event that would happen. I'd continue to write, and there would be another event. This was giving me breadcrumbs for making sure that I was staying on track, making sure that what I was doing was actually of value. I was actually going down a path that I was being led to go down. In 2012, December 12th, 12/12 of 2012, was when I actually published the book called The Deathless War. This book talks about, the foundation of it is really about understanding future events and future historical events, I like to call them, but really talk about this ultimate battle that's going on between forces of good and evil. Let's say in a dimensional realm that we cannot see or experience. And the battle that is raging in that dimensional realm is manifesting itself into our physical world. And this book helps explain why and how. And this will be the foundation of this channel. And I encourage you to get the book and start reading it, because one of the main points that this book is really trying to drive home is the elimination of fear. And that's why I started this channel. That's why this is the timing of this channel talking about this book, I think, is so important, because fear is everywhere right now. No one can, it's escalating at an enormous rate. People are uncertain about what's happening now. People are fearful of today, of their health, of their job, of money, of finances, of an unforeseeable future, what lies ahead. I can assure you the current pandemic will not be the last major issue that we're going to have to deal with. So the importance of rising above fear is of utmost importance. And the reason why this very first video that I'm putting out here, no script, just coming right out here and just giving you the direction and my focus for this channel, I think is very, very important. I think a lot of people are going to benefit from it, which is why I'm just being vulnerable, just throwing myself out there, and I want to share this with you. Let's talk a little bit about fear. If you are an individual that can rise above fear, if you can look at the current situation and you just feel in your heart, I'm not nervous. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not nervous. I'm not fearful. I'm not fearful of the disease, the virus, my job, money, what's going to happen next month, next year. You're in a very, very strong place. That's a great foundation to be at this point, because so many people are just, they're not able to contain those feelings. But I would ask you, why are you feeling those things? In my book, I talk about how once you rise above the fear and in essence become fearless, the whole entire world changes. Now all of a sudden, you're not worried about money. You're not worried if you lose your job. And again, this happened when I was writing this, in the book, it can constantly reinforce this in the book, that we need to rise above fear. But you can't, those individuals that are very, very fearful, they have a very high level of fear right now. In order to become fearless, you can't just make that instantaneous transition. You need to work at it, right? And you need to work at it by becoming more educated and training yourself to become fearless. You can't just be an athlete and decide that, all of a sudden you're going to play at the highest level of whatever sport you plan on competing in, right? It takes daily, constant training over and over and over again. And that's what this book really, really helps you to wrap your mind around. You're constantly being reinforced about a lot of different things that are all combined together, right? Make no mistake that faith, economics, politics, social issues, injustices, all of these things, health, it's all connected. And you can just simply see, I know many of you probably out there can actually see this tension that's actually building between, we can obviously, here in the United States, we can see obviously the tension between the current administration and the media. Within government, there's incredible amount of tension, but there is just an overwhelming amount of lack of respect for either side. And I want you to simply entertain the possibility of looking at all of that down here on a surface level. What's happening is up here. Really, to understand what's happening from, let's say, a 30,000-foot view looking down onto the world, it's a very, very different story, a very different perspective. This book helps you understand that perspective and gain that perspective and really make that a part of who you are. That takes you from being someone who's very fearful to somebody that's fearless about what's happening. I, for one, am an individual that plans a lot. And when this whole global pandemic occurred, I found myself wondering, why am I not nervous and fearful all the time? And that's simply because of the years that I've been looking and studying and writing and reading and understanding the world from a much different perspective than I think most people. So that's really going to be the foundation of this channel. Again, I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to get right to it on tomorrow's broadcast. And again, I encourage you, I will have a link in the description to this book, The Deathless War, okay, surviving the final battle between good and evil. This is going to be our foundation in this channel, and we're going to talk about not only this as just the beginning and just the foundation, but many other things. And I sure hope you join me on this. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to always know exactly when I post videos, and I plan on, if I post one, then to also be around for a little bit after that is uploaded, so that maybe we can go ahead and communicate a little bit in the chat area. So again, I thank you for your time, and I look forward to a video tomorrow to help individuals with fear and a lot of other issues. Thank you.